Over the weekend, 20-year-old Daunte Wright was shot and killed by Minnesota police officer Kim Potter. According to NBC News, Wright was pulled over for having expired registration and was questioned for having an air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror, which is against the law in Minnesota. It didn't take long for the simple traffic stop to turn into a crime scene after the officer fired her gun that led to Wright's death. Brooklyn Center Police Chief Tim Gannon said he believes the officer meant to use a taser instead of her gun. Amanda Seales, who has been no stranger to these conversations, took to social media to give her thoughts on the matter, asking how the officer didn't know the difference between a gun and a taser. Today we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Rita, Brent, Capone, and Pierre on the show to talk about the incident and give our thoughts on Amanda's comments.
If you can't tell the difference between a taser and a gun, then maybe they should not be in the same place. Like, put the taser somewhere else on the uniform if it's really this complicated for motherfuckers. I mean, it's beyond my scope of comprehension that we're also fed these narratives that are just so blatantly and just obviously bullshit. And we're expected to be like, yeah, I can see how that can happen. No, you shouldn't be allowed to even make those kinds of mistakes. You are f***ing with people's lives. Cause why the f*** were you reaching for one of them anyway? Here's the thing. I would be curious to hear what his warrant was for. Because if it's not for a violent crime, then why is there violence needed to even apprehend? Like, that's my whole thing about this whole apprehension game. Like, if a motherfucker is running from the police, then he's running from the police. And we have all grown up with all of these shows with police running after motherfuckers. You need to either run after and pursue the assailant or else you don't catch them. And that's just the way it goes. And this idea that they can't get away from you or they gotta get killed, even tased, it's beyond my scope of comprehension again. Because at the end of the day, if it's not a violent crime, what the f*** are you committing violence to apprehend them for?
And I hate to say it, but it's like, here we go again, having yet another conversation that shouldn't even be here, shouldn't even be a thing. But Pierre, I want to start with you. After, hearing the news and seeing Amanda's reaction, what are your thoughts?
Well, I agree with a lot of what she said, a lot of stuff that Amanda said. Pulling people over for petty things and it turning into violence is absolutely ridiculous. The fear factor that we have amongst each other. Blacks afraid of cops afraid of black people. And from a young boy, he was being arrested. It's like he was being arrested by the black cop, and then he moved and flinched or whatever it was. And the guy said, "Don't do that." And then she came over. Well, I don't know why he flinched. I don't know what he did that for, why he seemed to resist arrest. I just feel like it always, it escalates when it starts from there. Well, something right there. Now, I know they're probably coming over there too hyped up, the cop. The white woman probably was. She shouldn't have been like that. But I'm tired of black people constantly dying because of something that gets escalated.
Rita, I want to get your reactions.
Well, aside from the taser versus the gun argument, my question is, how does a routine traffic stop over an air freshener end up in the death of a 20-year-old black man with his girlfriend in the car? He had just gotten off the phone with his mother, so clearly he was afraid. How does it end in death for him, but Dylan Roof can get a ride to Burger King? You see the difference there? And so when we talk about these policemen and being afraid, why is that your first reaction, to grab the gun? The black officer was clearly trying to de-escalate things, and then here she comes, afraid, like, I'm going to use the gun. And what else bothers me is President Biden got on the news talking about don't loot and be patient and be peaceful. Well, where is that peace, that patience, that restraint when you are dealing with us, when you pull us over? Where is that? We wouldn't have to be out there calling for peace if you had just been peaceful in that situation. Because as we have seen time and time again, white folks resist and live. They can shoot 50 people in the grocery store and walk away to the jail unscratched. They resist as well, and they live. There's a difference.
All right. True.
Capone, what are your thoughts?
There is definitely, I don't know the word, but they're out to kill black men, black people in general. These cops don't get no kind of repercussions for whatever they do. We're sitting here watching a man who had his knee on another man's neck, stopping him from breathing. And not too far, or, you get the same type of thing that happens, and she comes up with, I thought I was going to tase him. What was the purpose of pulling anything out? You know, you see it on TV and they make it as jokes. White supremacy is racism, and racism is to kill all of us. And now you got the thing with the Asian and all that. It's always white racists against somebody. And it needs to be, all we need to start doing is locking them up. Change the laws a little bit. They got constitutional laws that seem to help them walk away. And, to me, it's just, it sounds like an echo, the same thing over and over again, to a point I can't even get mad no more. It's just something that happened.
But I don't want them to keep killing and then lock them up. If somebody's still dying, I don't care if that white cop goes to jail for 20 years. Someone, still a black person, has lost their life. I think what they need to do is sensitivity train, re-sensitive all white folks, sensitivity courses. And if you're going to patrol a predominantly black neighborhood, it should be, if you're a white cop, you got to have a black cop sitting with you. There got to be 2 people in that car to do that. Because white people coming into a black area, they can't handle it. They're sensitive. I don't know what they've been watching too many rap videos or something. It messes them up.
There ain't no such thing as bad cop, good cop. Once the commanding officer, like the lieutenant, there was an officer trying to de-escalate the situation. And he told him, get out the way. Get out the way. I don't care what kind of job he has. I don't care. It's not going to affect my life. So they got this mentality of superior, that they are superior over us, period.
Right.
And they got the guns to prove it. So it's getting out of hand. And I mean, it's been out of hand. This ain't just start. Right. This has been starting forever. No matter what, you never hear a cop speak up about another cop. And if they do, they want to hide their face. Right.
And I think the lieutenant situation, I think his name was Karen or
Mario. Mm-hmm.
So it's just, that's a situation where he complied. He pulled over, he had his hands out the window, because I do think a lot of people do echo what you believe, that we should comply and do these things. But it's like, even when you do comply, it's like something still happens to us. So
it's a long list. Botham Jean was sitting on his couch in his apartment when the white policewoman Amber Geiger came in and shot him. Tamir Rice was at the park. A child. I mean, the list is very long. Philando Castile did not resist. He was like, hey, man, I have a legal gun. He shot him 7 times before he even got to explain. The list is long. I done wrote some names. Breonna Taylor was asleep. Jacob Blake was shot in the back. Alton Sterling was shot at close range. Eric Garner was in a chokehold. George Floyd was fucking handcuffed. So what do you mean comply? We are complying and we still die. As he said, it's about superiority, and that began in the slavery days. The policemen were sent out to catch runaway slaves. And in Mississippi, down in the South, the police were in cahoots with the KKK. They would lead them to civil rights workers to kill them. So what you talking about? Ain't no compliance. It ain't on us to not get shot.
I agree with that part, but some of those lists up there, was there any guns involved?
I just explained.
No, you didn't.
I
Tamir Rice
explained.
had a handgun in his hand. It might be a toy one, but he had a gun.
A toy.
But you didn't mention
a
that.
toy.
But you didn't mention
Pierre,
that.
if it was a white, listen, if it was a white boy, would he have gotten shot?
Maybe,
if it was a white boy in the park, would he have gotten shot?
But you didn't even add that part though.
If it was a white boy in the park, would he have gotten shot? No difference than John Crawford, who was in Walmart with a BB gun. He got shot. If it was a white man buying a gun in Walmart, do you think he would have got shot? Hell no.
It's better if you're black, don't have no gun in your hand.
Oh shit. Okay, so we just supposed to be oppressed for life. Okay.
That's oppression.
We just gonna walk around like this for the rest of our life. Capone, you want to do that?
That lieutenant's still alive.
Well, that's because he drove a mile to a well-lit area, but he was still demeaned. He was still assaulted. That's why he's suing.
Right.
Had he pulled over,
get that money, brother. Stay alive and get that money.
But what about his dignity, Pierre? He got
that money.
He was assaulted in his police uniform, in his military uniform.
You're right. That was messed up.
What money?
Get that money.
What money can help him? He's traumatized.
He's alive.
So I think, and I think I understand both ends of the spectrum. It's just we're in a tough place, and that list is ridiculously long.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? It's sad to say that, no matter if we have our hands up saying, please don't shoot me, or if I'm, running, because essentially your body either fights or flights. You can say, oh, when I'm in this situation, I'm going to respond this way, but your body is going to do whatever it feels is best for you. That's going to save you in that moment. So for these people that do run, it's, your body is not trained to, oh, hey, you know, when I'm in this situation, I got to do this. Like, that takes a serious training, which is what officers go through. That's why we should, like, these situations shouldn't be happening. So it's a tough situation.
But the officers are human.
The
officers are human. And hold on, I'm just saying, with them being human, I'm not going to give you a better chance of killing me because I know you might not have your
But they're
shit together.
trained. They're trained.
I don't care if you're trained. I don't care if you're trained.
The onus is
You're
not on
trained
us
and
to
you're
get
killing.
shot.
Of course.
The onus is not on us to get shot.
Well, we're getting shot.
It's your job as a
We're getting
policeman
shot.
to
We're
have
doing
better
it.
judgment in these situations.
You're absolutely right.
And in qualified immunity, as Pierre said, these officers need to be prosecuted, period.
And I think that's the solution going forward. We need to see
Attention.
more of these people actually, you know, held accountable for these actions. I appreciate all y'all chiming in. This is definitely an emotional time for us. It's crazy what we see that's going on with this trial amongst, like, it's still happening to us. So, you know, you heard from us. Now we want to hear from you in the comments below. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Do you know the comedy culture? Play Comedy Hype, the game. Out now.